Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and welcome to Doubt and Whine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a series that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I'm glad that I'm having the opportunity to do it. And a little bit of backstory, I guess, on what my thought process was when I started this, and then we'll move on to what is our first, second, third course before we get into our main course, and then dessert, or something along those lines. Ladies and gentlemen, I initially started this series, or wanted to start it, as an alternative to Gout and Whine, which is supposed to be my series of me going over Phil's DSP tries-its and so on and so forth. I would like to think at the time of me recording this I have an episode out, but it's probably fair to say that we don't. In any case, this right here was a chance, for some of you who've been around long enough, you already know this. You kind of know what I'm talking about already, so there's really no point in repeating it. But for everybody here who's new, this is a chance for me to go back and talk about different aspects of Dave's career and his life, if you will, and some of the pivotal and interesting aspects and parts of that, of his travels. Some of those parts and aspects are things that he would feel comfortable forgetting about. But it's important that we don't, because as I've said in the beginning, these right here, a lot of these situations, a lot of these experiences, a lot of these times are pivotal to what the man is right now. And that's kind of the point of Doubt and Whine. So I hope you guys enjoy what we're doing. And this is going to be my first episode in what I hope is a long series, but you never know. In any case, I think the first episode is important because it goes back about 3 years ago. Vaping and gaming. Some of you guys might catch that, and you might not, but that was Tevin's channel back then. And back in those days, Tevin was playing games, he was vaping, he was doing a lot of things. He did a couple of This Is How You Don't Plays early on, just fun stuff. And then he did his first video actually addressing Phil, which we're going to actually go over that video today. Actually, we're going to go over two videos. We're going to go over not only his initial video, or his first video to Dave, but we're also going to go over the video where DSP responds to Tevin with Tevin. It's almost like, it's like YouTube Inception in a lot of ways. It's kind of dope. So you're going to see Tevin, you're going to have Tevin reacting to Phil while I'm reacting to both of them. It's going to be dope. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about what the lead up to this. This was about Bloodborne, if I remember correctly. And Phil just grinding off screen, massively over leveling his character, and how people had a concern about it. It wasn't just Tevin. There was a bunch of people who thought, dude, you're killing the experience. You're killing the game doing this way. And this right here isn't the first instance where people had a problem with how Phil plays games. But I think this is pivotal because it just goes to show that there was no real passion for Phil when it comes to games or whatnot. He was doing it because it was a job. He was doing it because it was making him money. And like I said, this was 3 years ago, which is, let's see here, I actually wrote all this down because even though I'm not in the newsroom, I should still be accurate. April 1st of 2015. So we're talking almost 2 years removed from Phil's glory years, where the big money was. And Phil's kind of just lofting along. And we're talking about games that are relevant and that are important at that time, that people are really enjoying. And you're talking about people back in those days before they actually played a game, similar to what they do now, but certainly they did it a lot more back then. They would look up the game, they would look up who's playing it, and watch a lot of it, which is what Tevin was doing at the time. He was going to play Bloodborne, and he wanted to, and right before he actually started playing it, he wanted to go online and see who else was playing it and try to get himself familiar with some of the things. There's nothing wrong with that. And that leads to this situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, Let's go ahead. Hope you guys are dressed comfortably. We're gonna go out to a real nice spot, have a couple drinks, have a nice meal. We're gonna talk. We're gonna get to conversate a little bit. I'm gonna step away from the newsroom. I'm gonna step away from the professionalism, not so professionalism aspects of GTG Networking Productions, Galtopia, Davetopia. Well, this is gonna be Davetopia, to be honest. And we're just gonna chill. We're gonna have a relaxing time, and I hope you guys like it and whatnot. And after a couple episodes, I'd want to. I think I said this, but I'd be even willing to take requests or recommendations, if you will. If you have a particular aspect, I might even just have you guys link it down below. Like I said, give me a couple episodes. Let's see how this all shapes up and whatnot, and then, you know, we'll see where it goes. But if you guys have some ideas that you want to hint out, throw it down in the comment section. You know how I feel about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy hearing what you guys have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doubt and Whine. I don't have a tagline. I don't have any catchphrase or anything yet. Something will come to me as the episodes go along. But let's just go ahead and get into it. Hope you guys are ready. Now let's go ahead and pick a nice spot to go to. All right, we got ourselves a nice little spot here. Got some liquor, nice outdoor type of environment. So it's homey, and there should be enough room for all of us. Drinks are on me, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys obviously know. And let's go ahead and get into the entertainment at hand. And in turn, as this goes along, I will talk as I feel is appropriate. All right. So everybody, relax. Let's put the bartender to work and let's have a good time.
Shut up and sit down.
Oh, for some of you guys who aren't familiar with this is old school Tevin. Oh boy, favorite gaming. Look at him. You guys should really check out his second channel. It's a smorgasbord of different types of materials and whatnot. He's a wealth of information, because he keeps up with a lot of the Phil lore and shit. You're gonna find a lot of that stuff there. And to be honest with you, any of my episodes going forward, at least any of them that has to do with Tevin in particular, which most of them will be pulled from there. There's also a playlist on Tevin's main channel where he actually has 60 or 70 of his old videos just like this on there. So like I said, that's some of the places that I would send some of you if you guys are looking for older stuff. But if you want to pick a video in particular from anybody's channel really, then, you know, when the time comes, by all means, and we'll make all that happen. Okay, so should be cool. All right, let's go ahead and see what Tevin has to say. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doubt and Whine. Oh yes, and drinks are on GTG, because y'all know me. Here we go.
Okay, get ready to ship bricks. Okay then, as you can see, I basically equally tried to level everything except for Blood Tinge, because I'm really not that good with the gun, and that's really the primary stat that it affects. But everything else has been insanely increased. I'm way overpowered, as people will say. But the thing is, with the insight going up, I get the feeling it's going to be a lot tougher because I leveled, and the bosses are probably still going to kill me, and the achievements to death are still going to kill me. So,
what's up, you guys? Tevin C here, and I woke up planning on playing Blood.
As usual, ladies and gentlemen, I will have the links to all of my sources in the description. You guys know that. And let's go ahead and give you guys a little bit of background. The name of this video is The Wrong Way to Experience Bloodborne, a DSP rant. And it was at least published on April 1st, 2015. Oh my. Here we go.
Bloodborne today. But before I started, I decided to look up a few videos, and I came across our favorite Let's Player, Darkside Phil, playing Bloodborne. And Darkside Phil is on about, I think, the third or the fourth boss. Maybe he's on his way to the fifth. I'm not completely up to date because there's some things you can miss and some things you won't miss. But the dude is level 97 in Bloodborne. And he just fought, I think she's called a Bloodstarved Beast or something. I don't know why I consider that boss the she. But he more or less steamroller boss. He didn't learn any pattern. He didn't use his gun at all. He just kind of ran up to it, hitting it over and over and over and won. And people are more or less complaining in the comments. I use the word complaining even though I don't consider it complaining. But they have a problem with him being level 97 because he is going to more or less get through the game easier than he should, and it'll make watching someone play the game less entertaining if they're only level, well, if they're over leveled and level 97, as opposed to being level 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you know, gradually rising up. He just instantly level 97. It's almost like having your Pikachu at level 100 before you fight Brock. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Of course, DSP, most people know this dude at this point in time for videos other people made. That this is how you don't play videos, and I've even made, I think, 3 of those. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's not a such thing as a right way and a wrong way to play a video game. In most cases, some video games are more fun if you play them a certain type of way, but you can pretty much get through any game more or less playing any type of way. You can kill every enemy in Metal Gear Solid and still win. You can play one class and use one gun in Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 and still have fun. You cannot do any side quests in a game like Dying Light and still get through it. But the reason why I make these videos, I've only made 3, I don't really think I'm going to make any more, but the reason why I make these videos, or made them, is this dude is a Let's Player. And he makes gaming videos to entertain other people. He's just not playing the game for himself, for his own entertainment.
Exactly. And that's one of the aspects of Phil that has carried over with him up till this very day. He only plays the games, for the most part, for what is his own enjoyment. And when he's done with it, when it's too hard, or he's getting ragged on too much, or whatever the case may be, he drops it. Now, there's been the occasions where he actually does like the game, but the fans aren't responding, viewership isn't there, support, or giving me money, isn't there, and he'll drop the game. But for the most part, Phil treats all of the games that he plays as he's trying to entertain himself. He's even said it that, hey, if the game isn't entertaining to me and then entertaining to you guys, or if it's not getting enough views or whatever, then we'll drop it. But he always comes first. And as a Let's Player and as someone, as it says there on screen, that does this for his job, it's supposed to be about appeasing the mob, if you will. Appeasing the crowd. The people who come and drop their money and give their time, which is just as valuable, if not more, to you, so you can continue to make this a living. And another thing is, it's a good thing Tevin never stopped making these, because who knows how this whole DSP thing would have came along if he had stopped. So that would have sucked. Phil's Batman. All right, let's go ahead and continue.
And that's where the problems come in, and that's where people come in saying, oh, he's playing the game the wrong way, he shouldn't be this level, he shouldn't be doing it this way, he should be doing it that way, he should do more side quests, he should play more classes, you know, all kind of different ways people will like him to play all kind of different games. Is it a right way and a wrong way to play a game? And I give that a simple and short answer. No, it's not. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. You can play any game any way you want to play it. It gets messy when you try to play a game for YouTube as your job and you want people to watch those videos and you claim you entertain people. I don't know why I'm doing air quotes. But how entertaining is it really if a dude is playing a game the way no one wants to see him play it? And that's where that's where my reasoning for making this video comes in. This dude is level 97 in a fairly early part of Bloodborne. I'm close to the same area as him. He's like a few areas ahead of me, but I'm about level 38, 39. And I beat the same enemies and the same bosses as him. And I got my ass kicked. I will admit I got my ass kicked. It took me 6 hours on stream to beat one boss. But I have...
But see, that's part of the experience, though. And especially back 3 years ago, when people go to watch a Let's Player do a playthrough, you want to see the struggle. You don't want to see, 10-minute segments of all this bullshit going 300 parts. But you do want to see some of the struggle. And Phil never understood that. And even to the time that I'm recording this, he still is complaining about, oh man, I'm gonna have to go back to 10-minute videos, because the ad revenue isn't there and YouTube's doing so terrible and so on and so forth. Because he wants just that early click and that's it. The only reason why Phil made a big deal out of the whole Bloodborne situation is because he really couldn't justify it. He's trying to rationalize it to himself and hoping that the hardcore fan base will just pick up on it and run with it. But in truth, Phil's trying to rationalize it to himself. And you got to understand, when you're watching, because Phil never understood this, when you go to a YouTube channel, especially a gaming channel, to watch a game, it's not merely you watching it for the entertainment value. You're trying to also get the aspects of the game itself, especially if it's a game that you're planning on playing or maybe you'll play in the future. And Phil, yet again, never took that into account. He talks about this is him sharing his experiences, yet he never really takes anybody else's experiences into account except for his own, which is in a lot of ways the reason why he's failing and how he's been failing. All of this caught up to him. Like I said, this is just one person talking 3 years ago. If you go back and look at the comment section of Phil's earlier videos before he cut the comments off, and even Tevin's and some of the other detractors of the day, you see it. You see people in their outrage. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yet again, DSP didn't care about that because there's enough people kissing his ass to where he thought he could run with it. And at the same time, the detractor landscape was different back in those days. So Phil felt confident in addressing the negativity without naming names in particular, and thinking that he can still get his point across. Instead of now, when he does it, he's trying to drum up sympathy or whatever the case may be. I don't know. We haven't had a big situation yet. But, as we're heading into, mid-October, eventually something's going to happen. You know what I mean? Let's just give it time, I guess. DSP News? Sorry. Down Whine. I'm sorry. Old habit.
Fun with it, and not a shameless plug, but I think if people would have watched, I can't even talk today. I think if people would have watched my video of me fighting the blood-starved beast, it would be slightly more entertaining than Phil's one, because it's more than just me running into the enemy and hitting it over and over and over until it dies and barely taking any damage. People are saying things in the comments, and I would post my thoughts in the comment, but let's be completely honest, YouTube comments is not a good place to post your opinion nowadays, because people don't really like seeing others' opinion.
Now let me comment on this for a minute, because this is one of the reasons why Tevin ended up making this video, and in turn, at least to my opinion, why he ended up making these videos moving forward. Okay, so even back in those days, Phil was a sensitive bitch. I don't have another way of really articulating it to you besides that. So shadow banning people and this, that, and the third on YouTube was still just a common practice for him. I don't know if Phil was on Twitch at the time. He might have, or he may have just left. So, give me just a little bit of leeway on that. He may have just left. But on YouTube, he was basically censoring anybody who could give him an opinion. So what do you do if you can't reach Phil in the comment section? Well, you go to King of Hate Vlogs. As you guys will find out in a future episode, that's definitely not a good idea, so fuck that. And then you could try to reach him on Twitter, probably end up getting blocked after a little while, unless you're James the Lesser, who keeps trolling him on Twitter and getting away with it. We'll see how long he does it. Or you or you could send him an email. And I distinctly remember at one time there was maybe a short email exchange between Tevin and Dave where DSP was actually listening to what Tevin had to say and was actually praise be Almighty, and actually absorbing some of it. But that I might have that mixed up. It may have actually been a different median of conversation, meaning how they were actually conversating with each other. You know, like I said, don't hold me to any of that, because that right there is something that I heard in passing in a video. But in any case, there must have been a rapport there at least at one time before things basically got all out of hand. And you guys know how shit is these days, where Tevin does his videos, Tevin does his streams, and Phil likes to make these stupid ass memes believing that he's getting a one over on him, and he's not. He's not. So in any case, but so Tevin's about to go into why he actually does videos and goes about it the way he does, but really it's because a lot of the avenues were cut off. And Phil can talk all this shit that he wants about, oh, I don't block people and all this, and I'm all about taking criticism and so on and so forth, but that's just not the case. It really isn't. Let's continue.
They agree with it. But he's, like I said, he's level 97. And if he was playing a game at home for his own enjoyment and he wasn't doing this to entertain other people, it would be perfectly fine. But that's not the case. He's playing this for YouTube. And people are in the comments, I won't say in droves because there's not that many people watch his videos, but people in the comments saying the playthrough is boring now, they don't really care about it anymore, they're not interested anymore because he's so high level. And some people are going against those people, saying, oh, you shouldn't tell someone how to play a game. He can play it however he wants to. Sure, he can play it however he wants to, but the thing is, like I said, he's trying to entertain people. He's not trying to just entertain himself. If you want to play a game and you want to entertain other people, you have to do some things that you may or may not want to do to entertain those people. If it's more entertaining for other people to watch you play a game at level 30 or level 40 or level 50, you shouldn't level up to level 97 and act like everything is okay about it. I purposely made a second character so I can grind the fuck out of that character and play however I want with that character. But my original character is going to be stuff I'm doing for YouTube.
Now let me cut in for just a second. Another reason I think Phil did what he did is, one, especially as Tevin already said, this is how you don't play as we're out at this time. Phil was trying to mitigate the amount of material that can be used against him, I think. So if you have an over level character, an OP character, and you're kind of just going through all the bosses, in Phil's mind, oh well, now you guys don't have any cannon fire anymore. You guys can't make these videos trolling me and making fun of me or whatever, because now look at what I'm doing. And also, at this time, Phil was still going through games so he can get to the next game, so he can get to the next game, so he can get as many clicks as he can, because in 2015, you know, views were down. And that means money's slow. So that means Phil was trying to play almost anything moving. And the quicker he can do it, the better. And he didn't realize that by trying to hold on to his petty ego and not trying to embrace this is how you don't play and try to work a partnership situation out where everybody can get money and prosper, he only was out for himself, which only hurt himself, not only right there in the immediate, but ended up hurting him even more later on down the line. And this is one of the lessons that Phil never learned. And it's because of that is the reason why he's at where he's at now. The only thing is now is that he doesn't have the energy. Now he thinks he knows his fan base so well that he plays the games that he thinks they want to see, as long as it's appealing to him. And it should be the opposite. You should be using your Twitter polls, you should be using your Patreon, you should be using all that dumb shit to actually to really be able to pinpoint what games they want you to play and run with it. And he isn't there. Mentally, he's not there for that. At the end of the day, it's always DSP first, and then everybody else be damned.
For the simple fact, I know it's boring as fuck, even though I'm not getting a bunch of views, obviously, but I know it's boring as fuck to watch somebody else play a game and just steamroll through the game because they overpowered. I mean, maybe 15, 20 hours from now, he won't be overpowered in the game. But as of now, he is overpowered. And a lot of people are going to leave. And obviously, what this dude is going to do is the same thing he usually does. 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, he's going to say, oh, well, when I first started Bloodborne, the views were great, you guys. And the views kind of dropped off. So I started doing something else. Just some bullshit like that. He's done this plenty of times before. He complains about people not watching the shit, and he says it's because people, you know, got bored with it or moved on to something else. Well, let's be completely fair. A lot of it is his fault. And him being level 97 isn't going to help his playthrough at all, because people are not going to be entertained by a dude level 97 flying through every enemy and flying through every boss and trying to rationalize why he's level 97 and come up with all kind of reasons saying, oh, well, the bosses are going to be stronger because I'm stronger, which is not the case at all. I remember a comment I saw on one of this dude videos a couple of years ago, and someone said he plays games boring. He always picks the assault rifle in the shooting game. He always picks the same characters in fighting games. He always does the same type of generic thing in every game he plays. And when you're making videos, playing video games, and you want to entertain other people, you can't.
Well, that's because it's convenient and it's comfortable for Phil. It doesn't require any more effort on Phil's part to stick with what he's familiar with. Like I said, with the example for Street Fighter, for example, it's, you know, it's just easy. It's simple. It's just point and shoot. And that's how Phil treated almost every game he played. So back in the day, I guess you could say that his color commentary, make of that what you will, brought something to the table, but the gameplay was always shit, to be honest with you. It was just, there was a lot of it out there. And as the pool, well, what initially started off as a lake, if you will, when that ended up blowing up into an ocean almost overnight, to where Phil couldn't, where there was only a handful of people doing what they were doing, and then next thing you know, there were hundreds of people and then thousands of people, you know, doing let's plays and this, that, and the third. Phil couldn't adjust. He couldn't adapt. So he stuck with what he was comfortable with, because he felt like, oh, well, at the end of the day, I'm still going to have the edge because I put out way more content than all of them. That's why he says that dumb shit now about being the most prolific YouTuber out there. You're not a serial killer and whatnot, and your name isn't, well, you'll never get any notoriety for that. You're going to get, the only thing that Phil's known for, really, to be honest with you, because I can't remember who was talking about it on Twitter, but really the only thing that Phil's known for, sadly, if you think about it, the first thing people think of, I should say, is him jerking off on stream. Twice. Once was actually the visual, the second time was the audio. And then you start getting into the more dirtier shit. So you being a 10-year YouTuber and the most prolific YouTuber and having more videos out than that's not even, it's an afterthought. It's an afterthought. And that's what Phil's legacy truly is going to end up being. Sadly. Not really. Sadly. Because it could have been avoided, but he didn't want to. He wasn't willing to change. He wasn't willing to adapt. So, at the end of the day, he's going to go extinct. It's just going to be slow. It's going to be really, really slow. And to be honest with you, as it pertains to the people that were around Phil at the time, if it wasn't for them, who's to say how far Phil would have really gotten? And I understand that, because eventually I need to put it up. I've never actually put that up on the channel. Was the actual John and Howard response. I don't know if I want to just put the video up raw, and so you guys can at least hear it, and then maybe I'll do another version where I'll actually go over it. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet, but I should actually have one because most of the trackers do. But in any case, John and Howard both gave him a lot of credit getting to where he was able to get to, doing what he was able to do. But if it wasn't for John and Howard, how far would he really have made it? Especially John. So, that's just my opinion. Let's continue. Oh boy.
You can't just play it the way you want to play it, to be completely honest. I mean, in a ways you can. But it's certain things you have to do and certain things you have to not do. One thing you don't do is level your character up to level 97 when they only need to be about level 40. One thing you don't do is play the same class over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And then get mad because a bunch of views left your stream or a bunch of views left your YouTube videos because the people watching it was bored. They got bored because you did the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Or they got bored because you grinded your characters too high and it wasn't interesting to watch you play. And I think he needs to figure out that he shouldn't play games like that. To keep it short and simple, if you want to entertain people, like I said, you have to do certain things and you have to avoid doing certain things to entertain those people. And maybe he'll learn it one day. I'm sure after 6 years of doing this, and he hasn't figured it out yet, he won't ever figure it out. But maybe someone else that wants to do Let's Plays one day will see this video and realize and kind of figure out that's the situation. Maybe. I don't know. Another thing is, if you're going to have your character level 97, don't post the boring shit to YouTube. Don't post just walking through every little area, one hidden and two hidden enemies, and you do that for 20 minutes straight and that's a YouTube video. Cut all of that shit out because it's going to be boring, so you might as well just only put certain stuff in the playthrough. But that would take editing and that would take effort, and that's a whole different argument, and I'm not going to talk about any of that. I think that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I'm sure.
But I will. You see how does some of that sound familiar to you guys? Whether you guys are new or you guys are old, doesn't that sound familiar? And one of the parts that I thought was crucial, what Tevin just said, was, you know, maybe one day Phil will learn. But if not, and someone else watches this video, maybe they'll understand the lesson that's being taught. And I think it's fair to assume when any of those people, like Tevin, like Theo, like Argent, who give Phil credit or give Phil advice, you have to understand that it's not just, at least in my eyes, the way I see it, it's not about Phil per se. Like, obviously, Phil is the median that it's all addressed to, but it's really to anybody else also in the future who can actually see these videos and be like, you know what? He's right. I don't need to play or conduct myself or do my business or whatever it is the way Phil did it. I could go ahead and I need to be a bit smarter about it. You see what I'm saying? At least that's the way I've always justified it in my head, and that's how I kind of, that's like, I guess, one of the ways that I thought about the way I do this. When I give advice, I understand a lot of people don't like it, but I want to try to get it across that at the end of the day, Phil might take some of it, he might take none of it. That's fine, but other people can. You know what I'm saying? It's reasonable enough that you can apply it to something else and whatnot. At least that's just my opinion anyway. But you're hearing the same old song and dance that plenty of people have said about Phil. And it rings true even back in 2015. Even 2013. You know what I'm saying? Probably back in at least 2011. You know what I'm saying? Shit got real. But anyway. Let's continue because we should be stepping into the next video any minute now.
There's more things that's gonna roll around in my head later on, and I can't come up.
Oh, and there's definitely not gonna be no effort when it comes to editing videos or whatnot. I think the last real push was KO Gaming. We all saw how that crashed and burned. So there you go with that. You could say it was a decent attempt, but I always felt that his fan base probably put more into KO Gaming than Phil ever could. But that's just my opinion.
All of it right now, but if you got any kind of...
And Phil still squandered it away. You convinced all these people to contribute. This is how you don't play. This is how you don't play videos to you, and you only put up a handful of them. That was it. All that free content that was given to you, that all you had to do was slap your intro on and put it up, and you didn't do it. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, man.
Opinion that's different than mine or similar to mine or whatever, let me know in the comment section thingamajiggy. Hopefully it doesn't turn into people telling me I should die in a fire or I'm a troll or something stupid like that, but that's usually how YouTube works out. Yet again, this is a shameless plug because I will be playing a game. I'll put links and stuff in the description of the video like I usually do. It's been Tevin C, and yeah, keep gaming and keep vaping.
Waiter, I think there's just a tad bit too much salt over here. Can I have something to cut this with? Like, can I get some other seasoning or whatnot, or just can I get some fresh ground pepper or something? Because this is getting mighty salty over here, mighty salty. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm watching my sodium or anything, but goddamn, so it was a tad bit salty for an appetizer. It really is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tevin.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we let Tevin get into his intro, so this video here is called DSP Tries It, Addressing the Negativity Yet Again, and let's basically giving an Tevin says let's give it an analysis. Sorry. Okay, so this right here, ladies and gentlemen, literally is the next day. Okay, this right here was posted by Tevin on April 2nd of 2015. So we're talking about almost right after you saw the tweet, which was provided by Dragon Killer on Twitter. So this is how salty Phil was. He saw Tevin's video. At least it's pretty fair to say that's what happened. Or it's pretty obvious to say that's what happened. So he watched Tevin's video, got salty, addressed it on Twitter, and then on a pre-stream, which used to be the hotness back in those days, especially given that pre-streams are only like 20 plus minutes back in those days, end up actually addressing it. So this is what Tevin's going to be going over and whatnot, and this is essentially our main course. So hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to order another round of drinks for everybody who wants one, and yeah, yet again, drinks are on me. Let's continue.
Yet again, and after the last video I said it'll be a while before I do another video about DSP. And
my bad. Sorry, the pre-stream is from April 1st. So that means Tevin more than likely recorded his video on he must have recorded his video the day before, March 31st, I guess? But it was published, though, on the 1st. Whatever, you guys get it. Sorry.
Sadly, a while didn't last very long because this is too damn good to pass up. Let's analyze the king of hate addressing the hate. A guy that never addresses the hate, exes the hate. If you don't know, this is about him grinding in Bloodborne and people complaining about it for multiple reasons. People that like him, people that don't like him. This is how he addresses all of us. On with the show.
We are gonna address a
and it is amazing.
About today's stream, Bloodborne.
It is amazing that this video even exists.
2 streams. For the first time since I bought the game last week, I finally have opportunity to play the game all day. And I'm very excited about that because the 13 to 14 hours of gameplay...
Going, just like to say, in DSP words, his own words, I have an adult drink with me. So keep that in mind.
...that I've done on stream so far, I very much enjoyed. I love the game. And even though there are some cheap deaths and things, it's okay, you know? You plug away at it and you keep going at it, and I'm going for the completionist playthrough, which I know there's a lot of secret stuff I need to...
First of all, he's going for the completionist playthrough, even though he's done things by accident off screen while he was grinding, like fight optional bosses and meet NPCs. But this is the completionist playthrough.
...to do, which I am going to be doing. I like the game a ton, and I can't guys, it's not.
He tells people that what they're doing isn't criticism. Okay.
And I'm going to explain what I mean.
It's just
right now. I'm
negativity.
going to get off my chest. There are some people who are just totally against the idea that for a difficult game like Bloodborne that you would grind. And it's the same people who, when I play an RPG...
Sound familiar? A lot of this should. It should. Like, Phil really hasn't changed too much over the years. He really hasn't. And he still addresses the negativity, to be honest with you, in the same kind of blockheaded sort of way. Where instead of actually taking the criticism in and leaving it as that, everything has to be negative, everything has to be an attack on him, and they don't actually understand because they're not real gamers or whatever dumb excuse that he has, whatever the flavor of the day is for him. Speaking of which, does anybody want some ice cream? Because I want some ice cream now. That'd be delicious. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay. Number one, if grinding is illegitimate, if it's supposed to be something that you're supposed to do to beat a difficult game, then why does it still exist in 2015?
So he says his reasoning, it's not cheap to grind because it's still in the game. So he's blaming the game developers because they give him the ability to cheese the game. All right,
wouldn't it be easy for these game programmers to find a way?
But let me cut in yet again, Phil. The developers, whether the aspect of the mechanics in the game is in the game or not, is you can't blame the developers for that. The purpose or the reason why the criticism started was because you're doing this for a YouTube video, or YouTube videos, I should say. And that's why people are getting upset at you, because these are people who are watching your videos to be entertained or to learn something. And they're not learning anything with you one or two shotting everybody. So don't say, but yet again, it's the same old song and dance. Phil has to blame everybody. Oh, it's the developer's fault. Oh, it's the publisher's fault. Oh, it's you guys' fault because you guys don't understand what I'm going through at the time. It's everybody else's issue but his. Though he was the one who did the action. No one told him to go off and overgrind super crazy. Could he have done some grinding or some leveling? Sure. Why not? But not like this. Not taking it to this crazy-ass level to where, or to the crazy-ass point where the shit's just not fun. And that's what people were trying to tell him. But he didn't want to hear that. All he was like is, oh, well, excuse me, if you guys think this is illegitimate or so on and so forth, then why is it even an aspect of the game? Don't blame me because it's in the game. You know what I'm saying? They put it there for a reason. I just used it. No. Just really stupid DSP logic. Let's continue.
To put a wall in to stop it?
Then he will complain that he can't grind.
And the bottom line is, I've explained to everyone where I grinded in this game, off camera. It was the lecture hall, where there's about 15 enemies, all students who are like liquefied, taffy-like students, sitting in a lecture hall. You farm them so that they come to a doorway, you kill them all at the choke point, and you end up getting 10 to 15,000 blood echoes for doing it, which means literally about every hour you can level up about 10 times or more.
Okay.
And 6 hours of me grinding in this area.
He's playing Bloodborne like it's fucking World of Warcraft. He's standing in a doorway waiting for enemies, constantly killing them, going back, rinse and repeat. He did that for 6 hours? How was that? That's not fun, obviously, right?
Area, I gained over 50 levels. Okay? Over 50 levels.
Gained over 50 levels in 6 hours, but can't edit a video. Can't edit the boring parts. out of this playthrough with this overpowered character. Didn't mind sitting on his ass for 6 hours and over grinding the character, but doesn't have at least an hour or two, well, I'd say probably 2 or 3 hours back in those days, to edit out all of the boring parts, to make it a bit more concise, to streamline it a little bit. But he can grind for 6 hours for 50 levels. Yet again, more of that DSP logic, ladies and gentlemen. And here's my drink.
And it's pretty ridiculous that you're able to do that in the game.
Blaming the game developers for his ability to cheese the game.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's there. And it is an intended game mechanic.
Cheesing the game is, or grinding is?
Unlike, for example, this duplication glitch that apparently everyone was using. And people
Not
are saying
everyone.
that people are beating the game in a couple hours because they're using this duplication glitch to max out their level to get every item that they want. It's ridiculous.
So, using a dupe glitch is ridiculous, but grinding for 6 hours in a doorway to gain 50 levels isn't ridiculous. He's trying to say grinding for 6 hours in a doorway is more honorable than using a dupe glitch. At the end of the day, you still get the same result. One is a little less boring, but they're both pretty fucking lame.
That's different. That's a
My
glitch.
opinion.
And in fact, today, Bloodborne was patched to remove that glitch from the game.
And other things.
Okay?
Okay.
So, in that regard, okay, that's a glitch versus a game mechanic that's in every difficult RPG-style game that's meant to be used if you want to use it.
So let me get the DSP logic out of this. So there was a glitch that I could have done that could have been probably easier and more entertaining, but I chose not to do that and whatnot, and now it's been patched out of the game. And so, as you guys can see, the way I did it actually, you know, took more time and effort on my part, so you guys should praise me for it. And you guys shouldn't be giving me shit. Despite the fact that the glitch could have done the exact same thing, and he could have used it and whatnot and just lied and said he grind. And leads to an interesting theory that maybe that's what Phil did. Maybe he did just use the glitch and just lied and well, he did a combination of the two. He grind and he used the glitch. And when the glitch got was patched out, he was like, "Hey guys, I was the one who did the grinding. I went about it at least in a more honorable way than just using this this exploit." It's still wrong, Phil. At the end of the day, you over-leveling isn't exactly the problem. It's just how far you took the over-leveling. And that's the thing with Phil. It's moderation. It's always in moderation. And he never does that. He always takes everything to the goddamn extreme and then gets mad when someone smacks him about it. First you ask him about it, which gets him irritated. And then when there's enough voices who are like, you know, who decide to start giving him pushback, then all of a sudden he has to bitch and complain. Instead of just taking it at face value and being like, you know what, alright, you guys are right, I may have gone too far with this. Or just going ahead and starting another character or something. You're supposed to be a gamer. You're supposed to be bringing people raw, uncut footage. So what's another character going to hurt you? But no, in the back of Phil's head, though, maybe these days we call it depression, but back in those days it was ego. I'm not going to let these this is how you don't play makers have material on me. So if they want to go ahead and make it this is how you don't play, they can make it off this. But they're not going to sit there and take all my defs and then use my comment section as fuel for them to make money off me, or to make or get popularity, if you will, off of me. That's not what's going to happen. And I would assume that's what all this really came down to. But that's just my opinion, though.
Fair enough.
To be honest, yeah, some people are saying, well, here's the...
But he's doing a let's play for YouTube to entertain other people. Having a strong character isn't too entertaining.
Thing. Now Phil's going to play the game, and he's going to run into these bosses, and the bosses are going to be too easy. And, you know...
Watch my other video of him fighting a blood-starved beast. He fucking tanked it. I'm not saying you have to die, at least make the fight interesting.
A person who doesn't grind, you fight the boss, you're going to die tons of times, and that's part of the game. You know...
You hear him mimicking people, fans and haters alike, with that little voice. The voice that sounds like this, and they talk about you on the internet. Yeah, that voice.
Right now, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw down the gauntlet, and I'm going to call bullshit. And
bullshit.
A lot of people are saying, well, it's entertaining to watch Phil struggle against the boss and fight it repeatedly and never beat it, all right?
Somewhat.
I'd call bullshit.
To a point.
And here's why
Bullshit.
I call bullshit.
Bullshit.
All right? Number one, because most of the time when I'm having trouble with a game, now I know because now I actually watch the stream live. I get to see the live commentary versus the comments that were always delayed when I used to just do this for you.
AKA hand-holding. Hand-holding, which is what he does to this very day, which makes it boring as shit. Like I said, he never evolved. For a pig, or at least for a pig that's half roach, he never evolved. And it'd be different if he was making strives, but he's not. He's not. Jesus Christ. And this is why people like Tevin tell him, you need to go back and watch, or at least he should go back and watch his old videos. Not that whole 10-year marathon nonsense because he was trying to get money out of it. I mean, really sit down and actually watch one of your videos one day, Phil, and see what, and actually see how you conduct yourself and your business, in air quotes. You might actually learn something. You might.
YouTube, all right?
You still just do it for YouTube because you left Twitch, dummy.
He can't beat this thing. He sucks at the game. We're going to be here for an hour. He's never going to get past it. People complain.
Okay, so I was right. He did leave Twitch. And he left Twitch for a dumbass reason, too. Quick lore on that. He basically left Twitch because, one, his viewership was dropping. Two, he felt that the people on Twitch, meaning his viewers, had just way too much power and control over what he was doing, and he didn't want to relinquish control, because that's Phil for you. And three, I think that came off of the debacle that he had where he called all of his fans lazy. And that shit made it all over Twitter as well as some other places. It's one of the reasons I think that he hates Review Tech USA so much. Because Rich called him out. And Phil had the nerve to be like, how are you going to call me out at like 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm sleeping and I can't respond to that? The fuck? Twitter don't stop for you because you're sleeping? I always thought that was a dumbass argument on Phil's part. It was a stupid ass argument that, oh, it's not fair for you to sit there and criticize me when I'm asleep and whatnot, and I can't defend myself. Shut the and that might be, ladies and gentlemen, why he has those 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning gin and tonic rants. You know what I'm saying? He waiting to see if someone's gonna fire some shots at him before he go to bed. That might be it. He just had one of those recently, to be honest. Yeah, he had one of those recently. I don't know. I feel like almost every month he has one of those damn things. It's damn near getting to almost every week. Jesus Christ.
They want to see progression. They want to see new areas. They want to see new experiences. And yes,
True.
it's funny to see a death here or there.
Also true.
It's not funny when I get stuck on a certain thing for 45 minutes or longer.
Very true.
In fact, most people say that's boring and repetitive. They want
It is.
to see new content, and they just wish that I could beat it and go to the next part.
True.
Number two, okay?
Okay.
If you're watching a playthrough,
Or edit those parts out. You're not streaming, or at least you're not streaming on Twitch, so you have the time. And you got to remember that, ladies and gentlemen, back then, he had the time to stream. Or, sorry, he had the time to edit. He had all the time in the world, and he wouldn't do it. He had to babysit the videos and put out the same repetitive tweets and then wait for Leanna to make him dinner. He wasn't doing shit. And he admitted that earlier this year, that it wasn't really as bad as he said it was. It wasn't bad at all, really. He had it super fucking easy. And he took it for granted. Now he streams because he has no choice. Because he can't do nothing else. Let's continue.
a game. And yeah, it's a difficult boss. Great. Do you want to see the person fight the boss for 2 hours?
No, but I don't want to see him swing his weapon 8 times without using any skill or tactics or effort and easily win either.
Or are you going to say, well, it's great that he recorded all this, let's fast forward, and you fast forward 2 hours till you pass the boss fight, right?
No, not really. I just stopped watching the videos.
Most people these days have given me overwhelming feedback saying, well, Phil...
Wait, let me jump in for a minute. This is still at a time where Phil was still doing 10-minute videos. So what do you care, Phil? You only care about the first ad roll, and that's it? I don't remember retention and whatnot being something that was important to you. Hence the reason why you were doing the 10-minute videos anyway. If there were boring parts in the first, I don't know what they say the statistic is, like first 30 seconds of a to like 2 minutes of a video, it don't matter because you already got the instant click and you already got the ad roll off of it. So having them clip on to the next video, see the ad roll, and then jump around still works in your benefit. Just saying. Just trying to be practical.
We really wish, I really wish that you would just edit that out. Okay, so now
this is where it gets good.
You want me to fail repeatedly at a boss, but then you want to edit it out of the playthrough.
Maybe you could stylize the editing, like edit in fails and edit out the bullshit in between fails. You know, edit in the fails so it can be funny. And edit out the bullshit in between the fails, then edit in your success after the fails. Then that way people that make "this is how you don't play" videos of you and fuck up your business wouldn't be able to do it. Because you edited in the fails of your own video, in your own videos, and edited out the bullshit. Because that's what "this is how you don't plays" are. It's the bullshit removed and the fails inserted. Maybe you could do that. But no,
well,
that would take effort.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what the 6 hours of grind
and creativity. And he lacks in both areas.
Has done.
So he grinded 6 hours so he wouldn't fail at all in his less even. So okay, let me think about it. Let me get it straight. He grinded 6 hours so he would fail less. Okay, fair enough. Let's keep going.
The 6 hours of grinding that I did in the lecture hall, edited out all the boss fails, even though I guarantee you I'm still going to die. If anyone
He grinded so he wouldn't fail.
watch the last stream, and that's the thing, people don't. They just hear, oh, Phil's a high
Alright,
level,
keep going,
fuck
keep going,
him,
keep
I'm not
going.
watching. The bottom line is I died a ton. I'm still going to die because
Now he's trying to sell the fact he's going to die in the playthrough, even though he grinded so he would die less. Keep this in mind. He's trying to sell the fact that he's going to die. Keep this in mind for later.
the game has this system called Insight that scales the enemies to your level. So
Not much. And you can sell, you can buy items and use up your insight. So it's not as good as he thinks it is when it comes to that.
Almost one-shotting me with every hit.
You can one-shot enemies too because you're overpowered as hell.
I'm still dying. There's
My
still
opinion.
cheap instant deaths.
Kinda true.
I'm still going to die. There's still going to be tons of stuff.
He's trying to sell him dying again. Just like I said, he's trying to sell the fact that he's going to die. Keep this in mind.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm still going to have a difficult playthrough. That's the nature of the beast. That's how they designed this game. Sure,
Somewhat.
the bosses may be easier because I grinded, but the game itself is going to be more difficult. And the
Not
coolest
really.
thing about it, we're going to see stuff that's previously unable to be seen because I have the high insight level because I grinded. And I'm going to do a completionist playthrough where we're going to see every boss and everything in the game.
Completionist playthrough, but we won't see some things because he saw by accident off stream. Like NPCs he met and enemies he fought off stream by accident that we won't ever see on stream because he already did it. But this is the completionist playthrough. He's better than those other YouTubers, guys. Those other YouTubers he doesn't watch.
How can you say the playthrough's less entertaining?
Because
But see, we're drawing at straws now with that, Tevin. Let's be honest. Like, all the NPCs and all the conversations and experiences that he had grinding, well, come on, the fan base doesn't need to see that because they're never going to know that. Because they're not going to watch anything else but DSP. They're only going to watch Phil, you know, their best buddy Phil. So what they miss isn't going to hurt them because they're not going to know anyway. They're only going to know what Phil tells them, which is similar to how the pig roach cult acts now. They essentially go off of what Phil says and that's it. And the few of them that stray off and actually watch the detractor content basically are enlightened. And when they try to take that shit back, they're immediately shunned because the brainwashing don't work. And I honestly believe that's what Phil was thinking. Phil was like, oh, well, everything that I found by accident won't matter because they're watching my complete playthrough anyway. So if, you know, a few pieces here, a few pieces there, a few parts here, a few parts there, what they don't know don't hurt them. And which is fucking dishonest. if you're going to call it a completionist playthrough. But what does Phil do? That is his stock and trade, lying. So, you know what I'm saying? A fish needs water, yeah? A fish has to swim.
You're going to see everything in the game, right?
Not really.
You're still going to have entertaining deaths. I just don't understand it. And the bottom line is,
still trying to sell the fact he's going to die.
For the sake of complaining.
Isn't this complaining for the sake of complaining? We can't complain, but he can complain about us complaining. Okay.
All right. It wouldn't have mattered how I played Bloodborne. People would have still whined about it.
Because there's no such thing as pleasing everyone. But by him being such a high level and overpowered, he's not pleasing people that like his videos, and he's not pleasing people that don't like his videos. He's pissing people off on both sides, which is what he's very good at doing, which is why he has 168,000 subs and can't even break 5,000 views.
They would have said, well, now Phil sucks at the game. He's taking...
Did you hear that? 168,000 subs back 3 years ago and can't even break, you know what I'm saying, 1,000 views or 5,000 views, whatever the case may be. Think about that and think about what his numbers look like now. Not much has changed in 3 years. If anything, it's progressively gotten worse. You know what I mean? But yet somehow, some way the pig survives. Somehow, some way he convinces these guys to give him massive amounts of money so he can continue to move forward. And if I got to buy another round, I might as well just buy this bar. For real, for real. If I have to buy another round, these drinks are not cheap, sir. They are not cheap. But we're having a good time, though.
Too long to beat it. He should edit out all his fails. No, this is the ridiculous part. I've never done that. I'm never going to be editing out my fails, ladies.
I'm never going to put effort in any of my Let's Play videos because editing is for people that put effort into their videos. I'm never going to do that.
Gentlemen, I am a Let's Player at heart who is about the real game.
The real game means I don't edit out boring shit.
Poor game, take out all the boring parts. Because
for some reason, I think of Ali when I hear him say this, even though I know he's not directly talking about him.
The boring parts are also part of the fucking game. If you want to see something with none of the boring parts, when I do my montages at the end of the month, that's what...
Pretty much.
I complete Bloodborne and I probably do a game-long best and worst montage, that's when you'll see that. But don't complain about the raw playthrough, because that's just immature and ignorant.
It's immature.
And now that we're talking about those montages, he doesn't do those anymore, so you don't have to worry about that. Why didn't he ask people at the beginning of his playthroughs? Because a Let's Player that I enjoy watching named Chase Money, he does this at the beginning of every single one of his playthroughs, and he says it almost at the beginning of all of his episodes. Hey guys, I'm going to do a he does like a best fails of a playthrough, yeah. And what he does is he tells people at the beginning of almost every one of his episodes, even though he has far shorter playthroughs than Phil does, and he says it certainly at the beginning of a new game. Hey guys, make sure you go ahead and put all your timestamps down at the bottom for certain parts that you guys want to see in the montage later on. Some of them will make it in, some of them won't, but you know, go ahead and do that for moments that you feel are the funniest, just so you know, so it saves him time later on. You guys are already watching it, so all you're doing is just hitting it with a timestamp. I don't know why Phil never did that or never thought about doing that. You know what I mean? I felt like that'd be so much easier for him, to be honest with you. And it's not like his fan base wouldn't have done it, but for some reason he never did it. And as you guys can see on the bottom there, KO Gaming wasn't even a thing yet. So, like you said, I'm not gonna edit it out. I'm not gonna edit out any of the fails in my playthroughs. For the most part, he stuck to that.
And ignorant to complain. It's immature and ignorant to complain.
The bottom line is, if you think there's one proper way to play a game and it's the only way that game is properly done, you're ignorant.
Keep this in mind for something he'll say later.
Just like in life, there's so many people who are closed-minded. They refuse to see that there's other ways to do.
He calls people closed-minded when he avoided Minecraft for 5 years because he said it was only for kids and people with no IQ or no attention span or something silly like that. He's not closed-minded. Everyone else is.
do things,
Fair
and other
enough.
ways to live, and other
Which is even more ironic now because he's quick to go ahead and suck dick on Minecraft, being like, "Oh, I didn't know what I was talking about back then. I misjudged it. I went off what other people said about Minecraft, and I just ran with what they said, and that's the reason why I didn't play it, and that's the reason why I had the negative attitude towards it." Even though he's the same person that will say, within the next breath, you guys need to be functioning human beings. You guys need to think for yourselves. You can't go off what everybody else tells you. Even though previously he admitted that he does that himself, or he has done in the past. And in truth, he still does it now. Go figure.
And let's be honest, other religions and
Why are we bringing religion up? We're talking about a fucking video game, and you're playing it on YouTube. Whatever.
Political beliefs. How close-minded can you be to say there's only one valid way to fucking do something on this
Those things are very much different than a video game.
planet? And I'm tired of the ignorance and it's stupidity. And it's all over the place. And I really hate to say it.
You said it a lot, even though you really hate to say
I
it.
really hate to say it because,
You really hate to say it.
you know, unfortunately, it seems like this is becoming the majority of viewers on YouTube.
The majority of the people that watch your shit have the same complaint. Maybe it's not them being ignorant. Maybe it's the fact that you need to change something. But that won't ever happen. You'll just continue to have around 160,000 subs and basically be one of the worst Let's Players on YouTube. But that last part is just my opinion. Ignore that.
If you don't conform,
It's amazing how that shit came true. Oh, baby. And see, I think that's another reason why Phil feels a negative sort of way towards Tevin, because in truth, there isn't much that Tevin hasn't said that didn't come to pass and whatnot. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing and that's why Phil hates his detractors so, because he has people, I should say, that understand his motives as good as Phil does, if not better. Well, then that takes the surprise out of it. And that's why he constantly needs to keep drilling into his fan base. Stop paying attention to them. Stop watching them. Stop listening to what they have to say. And only pay attention to me, because I'm not going to lie to you. While secretly, behind the scenes, Phil has a small group of people, as well as himself, this is confirmed, who's going back and watching detractor content. Imagine that.
to the way that we may believe you should be doing something, we don't want to watch it. Well, then fucking don't watch it.
Tells people to not watch his videos, then proceeds to complain about people not watching his videos. He didn't do it in this video, but he's done it plenty of times before. The hate and tells people to not watch his shit. Then when people don't watch his shit, he complains about people not watching his shit. Figure out what you want to do here. This is your job, remember? If people are mad at Walmart for doing something, the owner of Walmart doesn't say, "Don't come to our store." They fucking change something because they want to make money. You want to make money. Don't tell people to not watch your shit. Try to get them to watch your shit. Fucking kiss up to them. Sorry, but that's kind of what you have to do when you're trying to entertain people. You gotta kind of sell out. Anyway.
Stop bitching and leave
My
us,
opinion.
all of us alone, who are here to have a good time and enjoy.
And make a living. Let's not forget about that. This is, like you said, this is Phil's job, and this is how he puts food on the table. I'll say, if he doesn't, if he can't pay for the food, Panda can't cook it. So there you go. I feel that's crucial.
Enjoy the game. We don't want to hear your elitist bullshit. We don't want to hear your sheepish mob mentality bullshit.
We're elitist and sheep if we think he should play a video game a certain way for our entertainment. Fair enough. He can have that
what's
one.
right and what's wrong.
Now, keep in mind, though, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just Phil talking to his namesayers. These are people he's talking to his fan base, too. You want to know why? Because some of those namesakers come out of his fan base. So he's shitting on his fan base while he's basically, well, he's blanket statementing everybody. But he's shitting on everybody in this. Not even really thinking about it. And like I said, this is what, 2015? He's in a decline already. He thought he could bounce back, but he didn't. He already moved to that nice mansion over there in Seattle. Shit's starting to, bills are coming through. Bills ain't going to stop. You got to be smarter than this, Phil. And when, especially, like I said, when your livelihood's on the line, You don't have time or the option to tell people if you don't like it, fuck off. Or if you don't like it, you know, go somewhere else. You don't have leverage. Excuse me, not to that degree. These drinks are starting to get to me. You don't have that type of leeway. You don't have that. You don't have a backup plan, Phil, because you don't have any money saved up. So you have to be grateful that people come through and watch your content. And making tweets, sorry, not tweets. You do enough of that already. Making tweaks here and there help. Little by little, it helps the overall machine to work. Instead of having your fan base have to work 3 times as hard to be entertained, and so you can live the lifestyle you want to live.
So grow up.
Grow
and
up.
if you're going to be here just to bitch on stream, you're going to be here to bitch in the comments of the video, fuck.
Yeah, they any tells people to leave again.
Get an open mind. Become a more open-minded person.
We have to be open-minded to accept his beliefs. But he can't be open-minded to accept that some people think different than him and some people think he is playing it for fucking YouTube after all. He's not playing it in his room for his own leisure. This is the difference.
Stop it. Trust me, I used to be a less open-minded person.
Yeah, still are.
You still are, first off and foremost. But secondly, it's really, guys, stop making more work for me than it needs to be. Just come in, accept what I give you, and be happy with it. Sounds kind of like his streams, though, right? That whole bullshit positivity. You guys are starting to see some of the groundwork, where it came from and how it was laid down. Some of it, anyway.
Close-minded.
And I feel like I've experienced so many different things in life since just yesterday. I did an indie game stream. Games
True.
that previously I had completely written off and said they're not worth my time. I played them for 7.5 hours and I had a fucking blast.
Because he got paid for it. If he never got paid through Patreon to do those games, he would have never played them. I would be pretty fucking open-minded to playing video games if someone gave me $800 to do it. Just saying.
I loved doing that. So
$800. Oh shit! Not even the full $12.50. $12.50. Not even the full $12.50 yet. And oh, I had a blast playing it because I got the money to play it. Sounds a lot like now, right? Except for he doesn't push Patreon nearly as much anymore. But it's like, I need you guys to come to the stream, be positive, be entertaining in the chat, and give me money. I mean, support me so we can all have a good time. This is, like I said, this is where some of the groundwork for this bullshit came from. Oh boy. Fucking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing.
much to the point that I'm thinking I'm going to re-add it to my goals for Patreon for April because I want to do another one.
So he liked doing it, and he wants to do it again, but he wants you to pay him to do it again, even though he liked doing it the first time. He can't just do it because he liked doing it and to please people that liked him doing it. No, he wants you to pay him all over again so he can do it again. So let me get this straight. I liked playing these video games, but I want you to pay me some more so I can continue to like playing these video games. What? But, okay, this is another point. He gets mad at developers for wanting double money because they make the game, sell the game, and then they file copyright claims and want to get money off the YouTube video. He's getting double money because he gets paid on Patreon, then uploads it to YouTube and puts fucking ads on it and gets paid for that. What?
So that's the mindset you gotta have.
But it's okay for him to do it. We can't critique him or say anything negative about him, because if we do, we're trolls and we're ignorant and we're closed-minded.
Stop it.
My bad.
You know?
Stop it.
And then in late 2016 or mid 2016, he ends up going to Twitch. So now he getting that money from YouTube, from Patreon, and from Twitch. He had stepped his shit up the next year over because he had to get that paper and whatnot. But yet he still shits on other people who do the same thing. Wow, man, just a fucking hypocrite. Absolutely amazing, though. Absolutely amazing. And like I said, this is what I hope people will grasp well, who will understand from this series, I wouldn't say grasp, because you guys are all some really smart cookies, is the fact that Phil didn't become this way overnight. This was gradual. You know what I'm saying? Instead of the effort that it takes, instead of taking that same effort to try to make his content better, to be a fucking better person, he became a shittier person and spent more and more time trying to figure out how he could get over on people. And you're going to see that. Oh my god, amazing. Let's continue.
You absolutely got to stop it.
Stop it. Keep going.
And of course, then there's going to be, you know, people who are
People.
going to say, well, it's just not entertaining. Well, then obviously,
Because it's not. Would it be entertaining to watch a dude play Pokemon Red and he starts the game with level 100 Pokemon and he breezes through every fucking gym battle and every fucking trainer battle and still records every individual Pokemon battle, trainer battle, and gym battle, even though they're all boring as fuck? No. No one will watch that shit. It's just my opinion. I don't think anyone will want to watch it. It's not entertaining.
for you, is not what everyone's here for.
We don't necessarily want to see him fail, but we want to at least see him need to use effort, I
I'm here to
think.
play the game, enjoy the game, check out the bosses, the lore
Fair
of the
enough.
game, the secret. That's what I'm here for.
Fair
I'm not
enough.
here to watch someone fail repeatedly at a game.
But you're not watching, you're playing, we're watching.
And the bottom line is, if you're the kind of person that the only reason you watch someone play a game is to see them fail, you're doing it wrong.
He tells us we're doing it wrong, but a little while ago he was pissed off at us for thinking he was doing it wrong. So we can't think he's playing a game wrong, but he can think we're watching his videos for the wrong reason. But we're closed-minded, and he's not. Fascinating.
Right? You're a negative fucking...
All right, now let me further add to that point. So this is how you don't plays are terrible. You know what I'm saying? These people are stealing my content. They're hurting me. This, that, and the third. You shouldn't watch them. Okay, guys, I have this community creative program or whatever where you guys can submit your own "This is how you don't plays" to my new channel, KO Gaming, and it'll be a nice, positive, fun experience for everybody, right? And it'll give you guys an alternative than watching that negative detractor bullshit. You'll actually see someone here who actually put time and effort into their videos, like these guys, like the detractors didn't. But you can watch people who you guys know who put time and effort into their videos, and you can watch it on my channel, and you can help support me. You guys remember that? Some of you guys might not, but that was in some ways his pitch for the "This is how you don't" plays that he wanted his fans to make for him and have posted up on his channel. We'll probably go over that sometime in the future.
person, and you
This last 10 minutes of ranting wasn't negative at all.
need to stop. You're probably the same person who watches TMZ to hear the new cover story about how Justin Bieber has a new pimple on his fucking nose.
Is this 2008?
Who fucking cares? That's not the point. But this is what people want to focus on: the drama, the negativity, the fails.
He claims people want to focus on the drama, the negativity, and the fails. Bliss. This video fucking exists. This video should not exist. Because this is basically you addressing the hate for 10 minutes straight. But then you get mad at people saying they only want to be negative and, you know, address the hate. He knows people are going to watch this video that don't like him because they don't like him. But it's still on. But then he gets mad at those people and say they're only watching him for negative stuff. It shouldn't even be on your YouTube. This shouldn't exist. This address the negativity. If he never addressed the negativity in the first place, this would still be the same situation.
Sure, that's part of a playthrough, but that's not the whole fucking purpose of playing a video game. Absolutely ridiculous. So,
Absolutely ridiculous.
I went on my soapbox a little bit there, but I just had to get it off my chest.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was part of the conditioning that Phil was doing, but at the same time, it's almost, in a lot of ways, you see it really a few years ago. It's almost Phil trying to will himself to, or trying to impose his will, I should say, on his namesayers and on the haters and trolls to stop doing this to him. even though behind the scenes he was doing grimy shit, and allegedly he was doing it even back in those days. So imagine that. And see, what in Phil's mind, oh, you guys used to be former fans, so in some way I still have some control over you, because at one time or another you used to come and watch my shit. Whereas, like, my class, you know, and like my yearly class of detractors, most of us didn't know who he was, or we just weren't fans of him in general. Or we just started off as being fans of detractors. So, imagine that. And you guys see how he's reacting to most of us. It's fucking hilarious. Absolutely amazing.
Seriously. Go ahead. Go watch your TMZ. Go be part of the drama queen movement, the teenager movement. Be immature. Be ignorant for the rest of your life. And leave all of us alone.
So this isn't drama queen-ish either.
You go with your mob of people on your fucking island somewhere.
Sadly, half of his views are haters. I don't like him. This is why this dude gets like 100 dislikes and 60 likes. More people dislike him than like him at this point.
And spend time with them. And leave the rest of the humanity alone, because we want no part to do with your...
And people that do like him don't even show it. They just spend all of their time fussing with people that don't like him on YouTube and on Twitter, when they should be showing positivity towards the dude that they're defending. But whatever.
Fucking bullshit. Seriously.
But if we go by that logic, and at the current, they can't even do that. Because the ones who try to show positivity, you're derailing the chat. Or no one wants to hear that. And they either are, if they're not banned, they're just shunned amongst the very community that they're trying to uplift and that they're trying to make a positive place so new people can come in. Imagine that. People fighting over petty squabbles about who's going to give Phil more money. Imagine that. People who can't even hold a real conversation with each other because they're afraid that Phil's going to get mad, so they have to whisper to each other, hey man, we'll talk about this on Twitter or something later on. We can't talk about it on stream because Phil doesn't like that. Or Phil's not familiar with it. Fucking pathetic. Let's continue.
Thank you for being here on the stream. I definitely appreciate it.
This dude's pre-streams are ridiculous. They're like old school wrestler promos, because he says so much dumb shit and so much shit that he regrets more than likely instantly. But why is this on YouTube? Dude, this is a pre-stream. Why are you uploading pre-streams? You uploading pre-streams and you fucking ranting for 10 minutes. And then you get pissed off at people for being negative with you when you uploaded 10 minutes of being negative.
Because you're getting paid, brother. Because you're getting paid. Speaking of which, you guys don't have to pay. You guys don't have to put anything on this tab, right? Because, like, I'm going to pay it off because, you know, I invited you guys out. But in the future, though, I might need y'all at least throwing a tip. And don't turn this shit into Reservoir Dogs. I'm not trying to hear none of y'all motherfuckers going into rants. We'll save that for the end, but just saying. You guys don't have to throw anything in today. But I definitely don't want to hear no bullshit about tips later on down the line. Oh.
And 10 minutes of being positive and saying you so positive. And then you proceed to be negative.
And again, positive attitude. I have to get that
Positive attitude.
stuff off my chest to let you guys know. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to...
You're not going to let it get to you. Half the video was named after it. And you just ran it for 10 minutes. I mean, I'm sorry, but if something gets to me, I think I would rant about it for 10 minutes. If something didn't get to me, I would not talk about it. Other YouTubers get way more negativity than this dude, but they don't fucking talk about it every day, and it goes away. If he ignored the negativity that originally happened about a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe longer than that, it wouldn't be as bad as it is now. And he wouldn't need to ask for donations on freaking Patreon. He would still be doing okay at least, but he's not doing okay even. DSP is a really sad situation, but that's just my opinion.
Bloodborne. No, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to enjoy the game the way that I want to enjoy it. I'm going to thank...
You're going to enjoy the game the way that you want to enjoy it, but you're playing it for other people's entertainment on YouTube. You can't change your gameplay a little bit to please the people that still watch your shit, because you're not getting 800,000 views a video. Anyway.
You guys who are here to watch me enjoy it, and that's the bottom line.
Exactly. That's the bottom line. I'm here to enjoy the game. You guys are here to watch me enjoy the game, and that's all that matters. For the rest of you guys, you just take whatever I put out there. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, 2015, he's with Machinima still and whatnot. And remember, when he got dropped from Machinima, he said, you know what I'm saying, oh man, my income dipped by a lot, even though he said Curse was paying him more money allegedly at the time. And the reason why for that, honestly, is because I think Curse was doing like a 90-10 split. So he was walking away with just way more money off the bat. But he probably wasn't making nearly as much as he was making on Machinima, even though I don't know what the cut was over there. But this is how he was bitching and complaining, or well, you'll see later on, how he was bitching and complaining about finances back in those days. Like I said, the dude's never satisfied. He's never content with what he has. And if he is upset with it or whatnot, he'll sit there and just bitch and complain about it instead of doing something to change it. He expects other people to do it for him. Oh, this is coming up kind of short this month, guys. I really need you guys to step up and help contribute a little bit more. Or as you're hearing now, same shit basically, you know, second verse same as the first. But when is he going to start making changes? When is he going to actually become a factor in this equation? None of you guys live his life. You don't live in his house. You don't drive his car. You don't eat his food. You're not in bed with his... Well, some of us are. Anyway, that's not important. But you know what I'm saying? You guys don't live his life. He still lives the life the way he wants to. It's just he somehow was able to convince you guys to pay for it. Or his fan base, I should say. And even back then, he was drilling it in their heads that I'm going to do what I want to do and you guys need to be there for me so I can keep doing it. It was never about them. It was always about himself. It was always about him playing the odds the way he wants to play them. And if the outcome wasn't good, you guys need to help me. If the outcome is good, thanks a lot, guys, but I'm going to need your help next month. Down one.
Is that I like the game. Tons. In fact,
Me
by
too.
far, this is a game of the year contender for me. And I'm
listen to this. This is funny.
Other games this year, out of a small handful, I could see Mortal Kombat 10, The Witcher 3, Batman: Arkham Knight, and a few other select games possibly have being Game of the Year material this year.
Game of the Year material is the most mainstream of mainstream that's coming out this year. Even though you claim you don't always go with the mainstream. Huh?
This one is definitely up there. You know what I mean?
Not really. I don't know what you mean.
I mean, I love this game. I absolutely love this
Oh
game.
my goodness.
I'm going to treat it like that. I want to give it enough time. I'm disappointed I didn't get to play it as much as many other people. Most people have beaten this game already.
Let's turn over. Oh, here we
I don't know
go.
if they saw all the content, but most people have beaten this game already. And I want to enjoy all of it. And I'm
Okay,
a
he
more
didn't-
diversified person
he did-
now with my business, where I don't just
his
focus on
business.
one thing. So yeah, this past week I've had to balance my time with Bloodborne with other stuff.
All right, let's turn this down.
That-
I'm not gonna even go into how much he talks about other YouTubers and big YouTubers, even though he claims he never watches them. But
every single day,
Dspgaming,
we're going to be playing Bloodborne. We are taking a break on
the most hated Let's Play in the world by a long shot. This dude is just amazing. He claims he doesn't address the hate. He won't address the hate anymore. And then he comes out and addresses the hate over some dumb shit he could have just ignored. And because he didn't ignore it and he addressed it, it's only gonna get worse. Do you get why when bullshit happens, politicians, when bullshit happens with politicians, they pretend it didn't happen and ignore it? Because if they fucking talk about it, it's gonna get worse. If I didn't care about this, and I saw this video, now I'm wondering what the big deal is.
Let's get started with Bloodborne.
Oh man. He wonders why he loses viewers. And then he does stuff like this. And he wants people to donate money to him. Why, for the love of God, would anybody donate money to a dude that treats fans, viewers, and haters alike as like this. Because it's not just haters that feel like this. It's people that actually like this dude videos. And they're a little disappointed in his playthrough. They felt the same way when he played Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Dark Souls 2. Because he did the same thing in all of those games. But Dspgaming. Oh man, I would say how the mighty have fallen, but he fell a long time ago. Maybe one day he'll realize what he's doing wrong, but he probably won't. Because whenever you tell him he's doing something wrong, he calls you a hater or a troll or something along those lines.
Let me stop there for a minute. So, you guys see it? I know you guys see it. See, if you guys have been watching Tevin for as long as I have, as long as most people have, you're going to see throughout some of these videos, especially the ones that Tevin is in, because he actually covers the majority of the old stuff. So, more than likely, we'll use his stuff as our catalyst. You'll see how Tevin changed from where he's at. Well, you'll see what brought him to where he's at now, where it's about the lulz, because he gave him great advice. I mean, don't be wrong, Tevin still now gives him great advice, but he gave him really, really great advice back in the day, and Phil just completely squandered it. Or he does as Phil does with most detractors that he watches. He takes a portion of it and runs with that, and just disregards everything else. And that's just not how advice works. You can't just cherry pick what you want and then run off on the plug with the rest of it. It just doesn't work. And when you look at Tevin's frustration here, this is someone who wants to see him do well. Tevin's not out here to see people fail. He wanted to see Phil do right. But the problem is Phil mistook criticism, constructive criticism at that, for hate. And he himself, and this is why I've always said it, as others do now, that Phil is his greatest detractor, because at the end of the day, all of this is because of Dave. All of it. If he had made those changes years ago, who knows where he could have been. He would have never been as big as PewDiePie, Markiplier, Maximilian Dude, none of those guys. But he could have been something instead of just existing. Because that's all he does on YouTube, on Twitch, in life, is he merely exists. When he has people, or when he used to have people like this here, who really, really wanted to see him do well, and were frustrated that they couldn't get through to him, or even more frustrated that Phil himself couldn't get this done. You got to understand, Tevin's younger than Phil. I think Phil has something like 10 years on Tevin. So imagine a younger guy, and Tevin's one of many, being a younger guy trying to give you advice and you still fucking up. The generation of guys who come out of my class of detractors, if you will, we're younger than Phil. And yet, for some reason, Phil can't. It's a testament to Phil. If Phil can say anything, there was no one who couldn't garner the type of hate than Phil. There's just nobody who does it. Nobody does it like Phil. He should have his own. He should have his own sitcom. Nobody does it like Phil. That'd be great.
Hey, fucking amazing. Let's refresh the page and check the views and dislikes. It's only been up for like an hour, I think. We got 16 dislikes, 15. Of course, Google Chrome is playing. Oh no, we got 25 likes and 18 dislikes. Oh, look at that. Some people actually agree with him, apparently. I don't know who would actually like support a dude. Whatever, I'm not even gonna say it. Oh, look at this. We have a new comment. There's no right way to talk ignorant, negative people. There's no right way to talk ignorant. Huh? You'd be surprised how many people watch malicious videos about me, then check out my content on it.
Now, this is a rare occurrence for some of you because Phil doesn't have a comment section anymore. I think he doesn't have a comment section on any of his platforms or any of his YouTube channels anymore. The last one that he did have was KO Gaming until he shut that down. Now, that doesn't mean if you don't go to an old video of Phil's, there isn't a comment section. There is. But, like, his newer stuff, though, there's nothing there. Nothing there because he's so scared of... He's so scared that the comment section of his videos can hurt his public image on YouTube. As if he didn't do enough damage. He thinks the comment section is going to make it worse. Absolutely amazing. Let's go ahead and catch this hot post. Oh, man.
Looked in the mirror and said, damn, I can't believe I was being that negative of a person over someone who's just here to play games and enjoy them. I like his content. I'm going to watch it now. And that's the purpose of this rant. However, for every one of those people, there will be 10 who are so immature and ignorant, they'll rage and rant. Didn't you just rage and rant and be angry that they got called out on being stupid? The fact is, those people were already talking shit about me in this playthrough before I ever said a word, so this playthrough won't be affected by my speaking my mind. You fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? Really? He wants to just play games and enjoy them. No, he doesn't. This is his fucking job. He just wants to get views. But me saying that I'm just being malicious, of course. You're getting riled up by something so insignificant, blah, 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 blah. Calling people ignorant or closed-minded isn't the best way to change their minds. Exactly. And I'm not reading number 3 over video because that'll be really boring. But if you want to read this, go to this video. Make sure you have ad block turned on. And make sure you hit pause immediately. Because, yeah, don't support this bullshit. Because the more views this get, the more times he's going to rant on pre-stream. And the more times he's going to upload him ranting on pre-stream. And we don't need more of DSP ranting on pre-stream. He shouldn't have addressed this. This video shouldn't exist. This is insignificant. He's making it significant. And calling people ignorant and closed-minded just because they feel a way he doesn't feel is not the right way to go about things. That's fucking stupid. That's what religious nuts do. And that's what, like, you know, when Democrats call Republicans ignorant, and when Republicans call Democrats ignorant. It's not the right way to go about things. It's not progress at all. But DSP is never going to learn that because he's a 32-year-old man, 32-year-old grown man that never learns because he's too busy playing video games for a job. I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with people that don't learn, and I do have a problem with people that can't make a point. This is the last thing I'm going to say. DSP is one of those kind of people that if you make an argument with him, he'll either 1, block you, 2, call you a name, or 3, ignore you. And I think he's 32, an adult in the first place, someone over.
Now he does all 3. Almost in that order. Well, no, not in that order, because he ignores you at first, or at least he tries to. Then he talks shit about you. Then he blocks you. Yeah. Because nobody does it like Phil.
16 shouldn't act like that. I've seen some stupid fucking YouTube comments from some stupid fucking people. But I try to, like, have a legitimate argument with them if they want to have an argument with me. And if it turns into name calling and cursing, I just fucking leave it alone. Because that is being ignorant. What he's doing is being ignorant. It's just name calling. These people, some people have legitimate complaints, and they just call them ignorant and negative and sheep and blah, 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 blah. Isn't helping the situation at all. It's just making more people not like you. And there's already enough people that don't like you, DSP. And that's the reason why you're losing so much views. You can talk about how much you're gaining subscribers and how good you're doing, but you're not doing good. Because if you was doing good, you wouldn't complain so much about life. and you wouldn't rant for 10 minutes because a few people on Twitter and a few people in YouTube comments was pissed off about you being too high a level in a video game. But that's all my opinion. Dspgaming. In my opinion, the worst Let's Play on YouTube. Dozens of games he never finished. He's never going to explain why. He just never finishes them. But let me end this video. 30 fucking minutes of this.
Shut up and
Oh boy, that was great. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the history, if you will, between the two, between Tevin and Almighty. But sorry, between Phil and Almighty Tevin. Praise be. That's basically, I guess you can kind of say that's what kind of started it all and whatnot. Obviously, there's some other skirmishes, if you will, in between. But this is it. You know, this is where it kind of where it established the relationship. Like I said, if he had just listened to Tevin back then, man, who knows where Phil could have been at now? And not just Tevin, anybody who was giving Phil reasonable advice. You know, I'll say reasonable for most people. He could have taken that and ran with it. And we're talking about someone like Tevin who not only tried to give him advice, but he used to try to help him with like the specs for his computer. He tried to help him stream better. He tried to help him do a lot of things. And Phil was just a lazy piece of shit, and he wasn't willing to deal with it. He wasn't willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? You can't help someone get better if they themselves are not willing to get better. And that's essentially what it came down to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys enjoy this and whatnot. Like I said, I don't know when this is going to go up yet. Hopefully it doesn't get archived, but you know how we do around here. But it was fun, this being my first episode, and I think it's kind of befitting and whatnot. We have some other situations to come, though. Should be great. And like I said, after a couple of these episodes, we'll start taking recommendations. Let's say after episode, after episode 3. I've also adjusted the sound a little bit here because I know that I've had some sound or audio issues lately. So hopefully this is a little bit better. If not, let me know. Maybe you didn't even notice. If you didn't, don't worry about it. That means there might have not been anything wrong in the first place. But like I said, little tweaks here and there don't hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast. And thank you guys so very much for being here. Let's see if we can pull the right image up without it doing me good. All right, there we go. We're somewhat professional. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Doubt and Whine. Thank you so very much. And I'll see you guys for whenever the next episode is. And then, like I said, after episode like 3 or 4, we'll go ahead and start taking requests. And if there's something in particular you guys want to see and whatnot, we can go off that, and we'll just make that happen. But there you go. Like I said, hope you guys like it. Like I said, no tagline, no catchphrases yet. I don't know. I might just end it with, what was I just saying just a minute ago? Oh, I'll probably just go ahead and end it with, like, you know, nobody does it like Phil.